So, mm, this is gonna be nonsense. But anyway, let's get into it. Ugh, oh no, my tights are ripped. Oh fuck. These were new. Why does this happen? Okay, anyway, what am I doing? I'm talking about my fucking art. I'm talking about my fucking life. So let's do it. I've been feeling like profoundly uncreative, I guess. It's just weird. It's like I feel creative, but when I try to make, nothing comes out right, you know? And I came out of the hospital with this cool idea. I was gonna record myself in these like moments of chaos and then make this cool like sound piece. It's like a song, but it's also like kind of this like talking monologue thing, and it's like me, like I recorded myself in these moments of crisis, like breaking down, and then I was gonna overlay it with like these cool noises, and it was gonna be sick. It's like I recorded them, right? I have these recordings of myself in this awful crisis, and then they didn't touch it for like 2 weeks, and then I came back to make it, and it just, I think part of it is I don't have a hand at music, but at the same time, it was like it didn't feel right, and just like listening to myself, it's funny, it's like in the moment it all felt so like real and raw and like true. And it's not that it wasn't true, but like now listening to it, it feels like contrived, you know what I mean? Which is so dumb to like water my real emotions down to like, cliche Sophie. Like, I mean, I was like in the middle of like whatever, it's cliche. But anyway, so I was trying to think about what to do, and I think like I kind of come upon this problem that I'm having now, where it's like I'm more stable now, you know, like they got my medicine, right? Like, you know, I'm not like laying in bed wanting to freaking kill myself and that kind of thing. And I'm not like having to like true emotional blunting that I had when they first upped my medication, because that was terrible. I mean, like that was like I can't feel anything, I'm just a numb rock, and like that made me want to die. But yeah, now like I'm in this space of like I'm not in this severe emotional blunting, but I still have this hard time. I think I feel most creative when I'm in these moments of like extreme emotion and passion, or when I feel like I'm able to really get in touch with my feelings. And right now it's like I experience sadness, I experience happiness, but it's so difficult to be just present in a feeling, just to be like really present in an emotion. And you know, it's funny, like I say I think it's the medication. To be honest, I think it's the medication and me, because I think I've never really been good at being present in a moment. Like the only way I know how to be present in a moment is like when I'm with someone I love, and we have this one-on-one time together, and it's always through physical affection, like just being held by someone I love and feeling loved. And you know, I think like it's very difficult for me to just be in a moment. Other than that, like I've been seeing people, right, and I've been enjoying it. Like I FaceTimed with some friends the other day. Like I've been enjoying it. It's not to say it wasn't fun. I liked it. I felt good, and I felt good recently. Like I felt good. Although I also think my positive feeling is like in part a delusion, because if I was to actually acknowledge the like chaos that is my life right now, and like the amount of work I have to do, and that like I'm kind of like failing in every regard, I would be back to being deeply depressed. But now I'm in this delusional happiness because I did that and it wasn't really working, so I might as well be delusionally happy, and maybe that'll work. But that's not conscious. I think that's all subconscious. But anyway, I'm seeing these people, right, and I'm enjoying it. And I'm not like, you know, I'm not the like depressed like I was, where I was just sitting there and everything felt like death. But is it fulfilling? Is this happy feeling fulfilling? You know, am I present in this moment? And I was talking to my therapist, right, about like how I need to learn how to be present in a moment. And it's like, how can I learn to be present in the moment when like my own medication prevents me from like fully feeling my feelings, from fully being in those moments? I don't know, it's really difficult. And I just find myself in this weird like neutral zone about everything I do. And even my work that I'm creating now, like, you know, I've created this alternative to like the project I was doing before, because I felt so lackluster about that all of a sudden, and I think it has to do with the fact that I wasn't in that profound emotional state anymore. So to like have to work with recordings of myself in that state feels so foreign. What was I saying? Oh, I don't know. Happiness. What was I saying? I wasn't in that state, that I wasn't present in that. And now, I feel neutral. Like, I feel, and like this project that I'm working on right now, I've just felt like so on it. And like, I like it, but do I love it? I don't know. And it's so weird because I just, I'm supposed to be finding myself, right? Like, figuring out who I am. And it's like, how can I figure out who I am and what I want and what I like when I can't even like fully feel those feelings? Or is maybe like my lack of feeling about those things, or not my lack of feeling, I have a feeling, but my lack of profound, like, deep passion about those things because it's not the right thing. But then I'm like, no, because it is the right, like, it is the right thing. I think there's just something else going on, it's weird. And I mean, it's like what I tell people, like, this idea that I know who I am in the big way. Like, I know what I want my life to look like. I mean, for forever, my idea of, like, what I want my future to look like when I'm in my, like, 30s has been the same. I know what I want in that sense. And, like, I know those questions, and I know who I am, as in, like, I'm, like, a creative person, or whatever the fuck that means. I don't know, like, it's funny, like, I've always been told, like, I'm independent, right? Like, I'm this, like, fiercely independent person. Like, when I was, like, a toddler, like, and our parents were walking us into school, and everyone's parents were walking them in, so I started school in, like, 2.5, like, the early years stuff, And I would, like, I liked to walk myself in. I was like, Mom, I'll walk myself in, right? Like, I'm this, like, fiercely independent kid, right? And people always say, like, oh, Sophie knows who she is. And I do. I know who I am in the big stuff. Like, I know who I am, but at the same time, like, I have no idea who of late, I look in the mirror, and it's like, who is this woman, and what does she want? What does she want? And I spend time with people, and I do things, and I like them, but, like, is this what I want? Is this what I want? Who do I want to be? I can't tell you what I want the next year of my life to look like. I couldn't tell you at all what I want it to look like. And I know, I know it's because, like, my whole life, I've let who I am, in that little sense, be defined by the people I'm around and who I love. It's like, when I realized, it's only recently that I truly, like, acknowledged the fact that I'm a fiercely codependent person. But I hated admitting it to myself, because it meant my mother was right. Because my mother always used to tell me, you're codependent. Like, oh, you're codependent. And I fucking hated it. I hated her telling me that. And so admitting that she was right drove me crazy. And I remember my freshman year of high school, I had a friend who I was also in love with, of course, as is typical of Sophie. And she was my best friend. And we were both profoundly depressed together. That was part of it. We were two, like, little queer kids, and just very depressed. And she moved, like, over the summer. She was moving, and that was the first time, like, I ended up in IOP and all that stuff, because I felt like my only source of happiness was leaving me, which gets into a whole other thing about the fact that I derive my happiness from, like, being a partner to other people, and that, like, I can't find that happiness within myself. But I mean, I'm not here to tell you the definition of borderline personality disorder, am I? I'm here to tell you about this specific thing. And I hate the fact that she's right about how, like, my interests so often are defined by the people who I care about and the people who I let define me. And it's this strange thing where, like, I look back on myself, and I feel like there are all these different versions of me, and all of them were real. And also, like, I say versions of me, but then when I think about it, there's not that much of a difference between me and these different versions of me. It just feels like a different version of me, and, like, I've changed some, but, like, it feels like this profoundly different person that I'm looking at, even though in reality it's like most people wouldn't say there's any difference. It's all in my fucking head. But, like, well, actually, I don't know if that's true, but to a certain degree, because, like, I look back at that freshman year self, right, and that was about a year phase. The person I was then, I mean, obviously I'm far different from the person I was freshman year of high school, but, like, that person is, like, this specific version of Sophie I can, like, put into a jar and stick on a shelf. And then the person I was for 3 years after that, right? You know, like those 3 years were defined by my boyfriend and my high school friend group and doing theater with them. You know, and I loved that me. I grew so much. You know, by the end of my senior year, I was truly like the happiest I'd ever been in my life. I felt like I'd really overcome a lot of my like mental health struggles, which is absolutely hilarious considering that like 6 months later I'm in a fucking mental hospital. Like, you know, the downfall. But like, you know, like that was a great time in my life, and I loved my ex, you know, like we had a fantastic relationship, and I think he really changed me a lot as a person for the better. But when I look back at that person I was, she feels like a foreigner. She feels so distant, and it's like, and it's part of why now I have such a hard time defining like who I am and what I want to be, because I don't want to do the things I did then, because to me that's like trying to be this person that I was then, and I'm not the person anymore because I'm not with those people, because to me that person is those people. It's being in that space, being in with those people, and so to try and be that now would be foolish. But then it's this big question of like, well, who do I want to be now? And that's what's so hard to figure out. Like, I know who I am when I'm with these people, and I feel like solid, and then when they leave, I'm just like empty. I'm so empty. And that's where I am now. I'm just in this empty space, you know, this kind of void, and I'm just trying to find myself within it. And yeah, I'm just stuck in this empty that I just feel like this, I don't know, like this hollow person. And having to start over again is so strange when you don't even know like what you're starting over at, if that makes sense. Like, I'm starting over again, and I don't know what I'm starting, because I don't know what I want. So I'm trying to put it together.